Ladies, let me tell you something. If you think the thing that makes a man fall for you is your face, your body, or how good you look in that dress, I need you to hear me clearly. That is not what keeps him. That is not what makes him choose you out of every woman in the room. That is not what makes a grown man lie awake at night wondering how he got so lucky. Looks get attention, but attention is cheap. Attention is free. And today, I'm going to tell you what actually makes a man look at a woman and say, her, that's the one. I don't know what it is about her, but I can't shake her. See, you've been lied to. You've been told it's your waistline. You've been told it's your smile, your skin, your hair, the way you walk into a room. And baby, those things are lovely. God bless them. But here's the brutal truth. None of that is what makes a man stay. None of that is what makes him text you back in 4 minutes instead of 4 days. None of that is what makes him introduce you to his mama with a little fear in his eyes because he knows he finally brought home somebody real. I have spent decades talking to men, thousands of men, rich men, broke men, married men, divorced men, men who got it right, and men who lost the best thing that ever happened to them. And when you get them alone, when you get them honest, when the bravado drops and the beer is half finished, they all say the same thing. It was never the prettiest woman who got under their skin. It was the woman with something they couldn't name, something they couldn't buy, something they couldn't find anywhere else. And today I'm going to name it for you. Not one thing, 5 things. 5 surprising traits that men find deeply, almost helplessly attractive in a woman, and not a single one of them is for sale at the mall. By the end of this, you're going to understand what he sees when he looks at you, what he's hoping to find, and why some women get pursued like treasure, while other women, beautiful women, get treated like an option. So sit down, pour your coffee, because I'm about to break this all the way down for you. Now, before I give you the 5 traits, I need to tell you why this matters so much. Because some of you have been working on the wrong things your whole life. You have been taught since you were a little girl that your value is in your packaging. You were 11 years old the first time somebody commented on your body. You were 14 when you learned that the girls who got attention were the girls who looked a certain way. You were 22 when you figured out that a photo with the right lighting gets more response than the kindest thing you ever said. And nobody sat you down and said, baby, that's the bait. That's not the hook. That's not the thing that makes a man build his life around you. So you got good at the packaging. You got real good at it. You learned the angles, the outfits, the filters, the whole presentation. And it worked. It worked so well that it confused you because the men came and the men chased and the men wanted you. And then something kept happening. They wanted you and then they didn't. They were all in and then they were half in. They were texting you, good morning, beautiful. And then they were gone by the 3rd month. And you're standing there looking at the same face in the mirror that had them acting crazy in the beginning, going, what changed? What did I do? What's wrong with me? Sister, nothing is wrong with you. Let me say that again, because I needed to get past your ears and down into your bones. Nothing is wrong with you. What happened is simple. The packaging got him to the door, but packaging has an expiration date. Every package does. And when the new wore off, there was a moment, and it happens with every man, a quiet moment where he asked himself a question he didn't even know he was asking. He asked, is there anything behind this that I need? Is there anything here that my life is missing? Is this a woman or is this just a wonderful view? And that moment, that quiet, private moment inside a man's mind is the moment where your whole relationship was decided. Not on the first date, not on the wedding day. In that quiet moment, 3 months in, when the excitement settled and his instincts took over, See, here's what men are wired to do. A man is a hunter by design. I'm not being poetic, I'm being plain. For thousands of years, a man's job was to spot something valuable, pursue it, secure it, and protect it. That wiring did not disappear because we got smartphones. It's still in him. It's in the way he watches a room. It's in the way he notices things. And here's the part nobody tells you. A man's hunting instinct has two settings. There is the setting for things he wants to catch, and there is the setting for things he wants to keep. Those are not the same setting. Those are not the same women in his mind. And most of what you've been taught about attraction feeds the first setting and starves the second one. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You've lived this. You've been the woman he chased like his life depended on it for 6 weeks. And then somehow you became the woman he could go quiet on for 6 days. And nobody explained the shift. So you blamed yourself. You thought, I got comfortable. I gained 5 pounds. I should have played it cooler. No, baby. The chase didn't end because you changed. The chase ended because he finished one hunt and never started the other one. And the other one, the keep hunt, is triggered by things that have nothing to do with your body. Let me tell you about a woman I know. We'll call her Denise. Denise is 41, divorced, 2 kids, and she told me she spent her whole 30s believing she had to compete with 25-year-olds. She said, Steve, I was in the gym like it was a second job. I was doing everything to my hair, my nails, my clothes, and I kept meeting men who were fascinated with me for 90 days and bored of me by day 91. And then Denise did something different. She didn't get younger. She didn't get thinner. She got honest. She got calm. She got standards, and she got a life, and she stopped auditioning. And she said the strangest things started happening. Men started staying. Men started introducing her to people. Men started asking her opinion on things. One man told her, and she never forgot it. He said, I don't know what it is about you, but when I'm with you, I feel like a better man. That's it. That's the whole mystery right there. Did you hear it? He didn't say you're the finest woman I've ever seen. He said, when I'm with you, I feel like a better man. The 5 traits I'm about to give you are the 5 things that produce that sentence in a man's mouth. Now let's get into it. Trait number 1, and I promise you, this is not the one you expected. The first thing a man finds deeply, almost magnetically attractive in a woman is emotional steadiness. Calm, not coldness, not games, not pretending you don't care. Calm. Let me tell you why this is first. Because women always tilt their head at this one. Every man you have ever met is carrying a war you know nothing about. He wakes up every morning and the world asks him for things. His job asks him. His bills ask him. His pride asks him. His past asks him. And a man, by his nature, by his wiring, does not get to fall apart. That's not fair, but that's real. He has been taught since he was 5 years old that crying is weakness and fear is shameful. So he walks around this earth as a sealed container of pressure. Every man, the successful ones, the struggling ones, all of them. A sealed container of pressure with a smile on top. Now imagine that man meets a woman. And at first it's fun, it's flirty, it's all sparks. But then life starts lifing, and he watches how she handles a bad day. He watches what she does when the plan falls through. He watches what she does when she's hurt, when she's disappointed, when she's scared. And baby, he is not judging her for having feelings. Let me be clear about that, because women hear be calm and they think I'm saying be quiet. I am not saying be quiet. I am saying he is watching to find out one thing. He wants to know if her emotions are weather or climate. Weather passes. Climate is forever. A man can handle weather. A man can hold an umbrella. What terrifies a man, what makes a man quietly plan his exit, is the feeling that he is signing up for a permanent storm. See, here's what's happening inside his mind. He is not asking, does she get upset? He is asking, can I survive her upsets? Because he already has a war out there. Every man does. And the deepest fantasy a man has, the one he will never say out loud at the barbershop because they laugh him out the chair, is this. He wants one place on this earth where the war stops. He wants one person whose presence lowers his blood pressure instead of raising it. And when he finds a woman whose spirit feels like peace, when he finds a woman who can be angry without being cruel, who can be hurt without being destructive, who can say that bothered me instead of burning the whole house down, something happens in that man that he cannot control. He starts to relax. And a relaxed man is a loyal man. A relaxed man is a generous man. A relaxed man is a man who comes home early. You've seen the opposite. You've been at the restaurant and seen the couple at the next table, and she's going off, and he's sitting there with that look on his face. You know the look? That blank glazed, I'm physically here, but I left 20 minutes ago look. That's not a man who stopped caring in that moment. That's a man who decided somewhere in the last 6 months that her emotions were climate, that there would never be clear skies. And once a man decides that, it's almost impossible to undo because his body remembers. His shoulders tense up when he hears her keys in the door. That's real. That's physiology. Now, here's where I have to be honest with you, sister. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying this to wake you up. Some of you have been bringing the storm because nobody ever taught you that you were allowed to put it down. You learned early that the only way to be heard was to get loud. Maybe you grew up in a house where calm people got ignored, so you learned to escalate. Maybe you were with a man who didn't respond to anything gentle, so you trained yourself to come in hot because hot was the only temperature he could feel. I understand that. I have compassion for that. But hear me on this. What protected you in one season will imprison you in the next. The volume that made a neglectful man notice you will make a good man leave you. And you deserve to learn the difference. So here's what steadiness actually looks like in practice, because I'm not going to leave you with a concept and no tools. Steadiness is not silence. Steadiness is timing. When he does something that hurts you, steadiness says, I'm going to feel this first and speak second. That's it. Feel first, speak second. The woman who texts the paragraph at the height of the emotion is not weak. She's just early. She's sending the weather report while the storm is still overhead. Give it a night. Give it a breath. The same truth delivered from calm lands 10 times deeper than the same truth delivered from chaos. A man can hear a calm woman. He can only defend against a chaotic one. There's a difference between hearing and defending, and your whole relationship lives in that difference. I knew a woman, let's call her Rachel. Rachel was the queen of the 2 a.m. paragraph. Every hurt she ever had got typed out at the height of it. And she hit send like she was launching something. And then she'd wake up the next morning with that sickness in her stomach, rereading what she sent, watching the 3 dots come and go. And she told me, Steve, I don't even mean half of it. I just need him to know I'm hurting. And I said, baby, he can't hear your hurt over the sound of your explosion. The hurt is the message. The explosion is the noise. And men are simple receivers. The noise drowns the message every single time. Rachel tried something radical. She started writing the paragraph and not sending it. She'd write it in her notes app, every raw word, and then she'd sleep. And 9 times out of 10, she'd wake up and read it and delete it. And then she'd go to him and say one calm sentence. What you did yesterday hurt me, and I need us to talk about it. One calm sentence. And she said men she dated before would argue with her for hours. But this man with the one calm sentence, he just looked at her and said, "Come here. Tell me what happened." Same hurt, different delivery, different man?
No.
Same kind of man, finally able to hear her. That's what steadiness does. It turns down the noise so your truth can finally get through. And here's the spicy part, because there's always a spicy part. Baby, nothing unsettles a man who is used to chaos like a woman who stays calm. When you don't match his energy, when you don't take the bait, when you respond to his attitude with evenness, he doesn't know what to do with you. You become a puzzle he can't solve, and men cannot walk away from a puzzle they can't solve. Calm is not just attractive. Calm is disarming. Calm is power wearing a soft dress. Now, trait number 2. And this one is going to surprise you even more because you've been told your whole life that this trait scares men off. The second thing, men find deeply attractive in a woman is standards. A woman who can say no. A woman with a price of admission. Now I know what they told you. They told you men are intimidated by strong women. They told you if you have too many requirements, you'll end up alone. They told you to be easygoing, be low maintenance, be the cool girl, don't ask for too much. And some of you listened. Some of you became so low maintenance, you were getting maintained by nobody. You became the cool girl, and the cool girl gets a very specific prize. She gets to watch him give the world to the woman who asked for it. Let me break down what's really happening inside his mind, because this is male psychology at its most raw. A man does not value what costs him nothing. That is not a character flaw. That is not him being a dog. That is economics written into his soul. Every man alive measures the worth of a thing by what he had to exchange for it. The car he saved 3 years for means more than the car he was handed. The house he built means more than the room he rents. And the woman who required something of him, who made him rise, who made him plan, who made him show up correct, she occupies a category in his mind that the easy woman never touches. Not because he's evil, because he's human. We all do this. You do it too. The handbag you save for means more than the one on the clearance rack. Value and cost are married in the human brain. You cannot separate them. You can only decide which side of the equation you want to live on. You've been sitting there, haven't you? Watching some man give you the bare minimum and wondering why he won't do more. He texts you at 11 o'clock at night. He sees you when it's convenient. He gives you just enough to keep you from leaving and never enough to make you secure. And you keep thinking if you're more understanding, more patient, more giving, he'll finally see your worth and rise up. Sister, listen to me carefully. He already sees your worth. He sees it perfectly. He has priced you in his own mind at exactly what you're accepting. A man pays what you charge, not what you're worth, what you charge. And if you charge nothing, that is not generosity in his eyes. That is a clearance sticker. I need to tell you about Tasha. Tasha was dating a man for 2 years who never made her a priority. Birthdays came and went with a text. Plans got canceled an hour before. And Tasha was the understanding girlfriend. She understood his job. She understood his stress. She understood his mama, his ex, his dog, his fantasy football league. She understood everything except one thing. She didn't understand that she was teaching him. Every time you accept less without consequence, you are training a man. That's not an accusation. That's just how people work. You are always teaching people how to treat you by what you walk away from and what you stay through. Tasha finally got tired, and she did something she had never done. He canceled on her for the third time in a month, some vague excuse. And instead of, "It's okay, baby, I understand," she said, "No, it's not okay. And I'm not going to keep doing this." And then the hard part, she went quiet. She didn't block him. She didn't curse him out. She just stopped being available. And she told me, "Steve, I was sick about it. I cried for a week. I was sure he'd just move on." He lasted 4 days. 4 days. And then he showed up, and for the first time in 2 years, he showed up correct. Flowers, a plan, a reservation, an apology with specifics in it. And she asked him later, "Why now? What changed?" And this man said the sentence that proves everything I'm telling you. He said, "I always knew you'd take me back. Then one day I wasn't sure anymore, and it scared the life out of me." Did you hear that? He was never confused about her worth. He was comfortable with her price. The moment the price changed, the behavior changed. The behavior was never the problem. The pricing was the problem. Now here's where most women mess this up, and I need you to lean in, because this is the part they don't teach you. Standards are not an attitude. Standards are not a speech. Some of you give these magnificent speeches. "I know my worth. I don't accept this. A real man would never." And then you accept it anyway. Baby, a standard that isn't enforced is not a standard. It's a wish. It's a wish list you're reading to a man who already knows you won't close the store. Men don't respond to announced standards. Men respond to enforced standards. The power is not in the declaration. The power is in the consequence. You don't have to tell him what you require. You just have to quietly become unavailable when it's not there. That's the whole game. Silence is not passive. Silence is a spotlight. When you go quiet, you put the spotlight on his behavior, and men cannot stand in that spotlight long. They will either step up into it or step out of your life, and either one of those outcomes is a win. Did you hear me? Either outcome is a win. Him rising is a win. Him leaving is a win. The only loss is you staying in a situation with no standard, paying full price for a man on layaway. And let me kill a lie while I'm in this neighborhood. The lie says that if you have standards, the good men will be scared off. No, baby. Wrong men are scared off by standards. Good men are attracted by them. You know what a good man thinks when he meets a woman with real standards? He thinks, finally, a woman I can't cuss with. Finally, a woman whose yes means something because her no is real. A high quality man is bored by easy. He has had easy. Easy is everywhere. What he has not had, what he is secretly starving for, is a woman whose approval he has to earn. Because her approval is the only kind that will ever mean anything to him. Stop shrinking. Stop discounting. Stop auditioning for a role you were born to cast. Trait number 3. And this one is going to sound small, but I need you to trust me because it might be the most powerful one on the list. The third thing men find irresistibly attractive in a woman is playfulness, lightness, the ability to laugh, to tease, to be fun. Now don't roll your eyes at me. I can feel some of you rolling your eyes. Playfulness, Steve, I came here for strategy. Baby, this I ask strategy because here's what nobody tells you about men. A man's attraction begins with his eyes, but it is sustained by his nervous system. How he feels around you determines how long he stays around you. And most men are walking around this world heavy. Heavy with responsibility, heavy with expectation, heavy with the performance of being a man. He has to be serious at work. He has to be strong for his family. He has to have answers everywhere he goes. And then he meets a woman, and in the beginning, it's light, it's laughter, it's that banter, that teasing, that electricity. That's why he falls so fast in the beginning. It's not your face changing his brain chemistry. It's the lightness. He is literally addicted to the feeling of being around someone who makes the world feel less heavy. Then something happens. The relationship gets serious, and she gets serious. And I understand why, because serious things are at stake. Your heart is at stake. Your future is at stake. But somewhere along the way, the playfulness dies, and everything becomes a meeting. Every conversation is about the relationship, the problems, the plans, the feelings, and he starts to drift, and she says, he's changed. He used to be so into me. No, baby, he didn't change. The atmosphere changed. He is still addicted to lightness. He is just not getting it at home anymore. And a man will always gravitate toward where he feels light. That's not an excuse for bad behavior. That's a diagnosis. There's a difference between an excuse and a diagnosis, and I'm in the diagnosis business. Let me make this concrete for you. Think about the last time you saw a man completely smitten, really smitten, not just interested. What was she doing? I guarantee you she was laughing at something. I guarantee you there was an ease about her. She teased him a little. She didn't let him be too serious. She touched his arm and rolled her eyes at his corny joke, and he stood there grinning like a 14-year-old boy. That grin. You've seen that grin. Every man has that grin, and it only comes out for one thing. It comes out when a woman makes him feel like a boy again, in the good way, in the way that means the armor is off. Playfulness is the key that takes a man's armor off. And when the armor is off, that's when you get access to the real him. That's when you get the tenderness, the loyalty, the little boy devotion that women think only exists in movies. It exists. It's in every man. It's just behind the armor. And playfulness is the key. Now, some of you are saying, Steve, I used to be fun. Life beat the fun out of me. I hear you. And I'm not asking you to fake joy you don't have. I'm asking you to protect the joy you do have. And to understand that your lightness is not frivolous. Your lightness is magnetic. Your laugh is not a small thing. Your laugh is a force. You know what men say when they describe the woman they fell for. 9 times out of 10, somewhere in the first 3 sentences, they say, and she was just fun, or she made me laugh, or it was just easy with her. Easy. That word comes up more than beautiful, more than sexy. Easy. And I don't mean easy like no standards. We already covered that. I mean easy like Sunday morning. Easy like he didn't have to perform. Easy like being around her felt like taking off tight shoes. Here's the practical part, because you know I always bring the practical part. Bring back teasing. Teasing is the most underrated form of intimacy on this planet. When you tease a man gently, playfully about his terrible dancing or his overconfidence in his grilling skills, you are communicating something profound. You are saying, I see you, the real you, and I like you enough to play with you. Men tease their closest friends. That's how men bond. When you tease a man, you enter his deepest friendship language and his romantic language at the same time. It's a skeleton key, and laugh at his jokes when they're funny. Don't fake it. Men can smell fake. But when it's funny, let it out. That laugh of yours is doing more work than any outfit you own. And let him be silly. Let the man be silly without making him feel stupid. A man who can be silly with you is a man whose armor is off. And a man whose armor is off is a man whose heart is open. You're welcome. Trait number 4. Now we're getting into the deep water. The 4th thing men find powerfully attractive in a woman is this: a life of her own. Purpose. Passion. A woman who is going somewhere with or without him. Ladies,